Legend of the Galactic Heroes, arguably the greatest space story ever told that nobody seems to have watched. This is one of those titles that, is it an underground classic?
Is it an underground classic? You know what, that's a good question. Is it an underground classic?
Because you read these reviews and all you see is tens, but I don't know how I even came across it. I think it was Rolo Dolo who told me and you that it's fucking fantastic, man. Storyline.
Yeah, it was, he mentioned it. Then we did our usual, we did a bit of research about it. Then all we saw was tens,
Yeah, tens. See this anime, see tens, but
this shit, watch this. Watch this shit. Why haven't you seen it yet?
Most people haven't seen it, but the question is why? Why haven't they seen it, Gio?
I think the main thing is, you look at it. You look at the cover, and you see some blonde brat in his glory, and it just doesn't look appealing. It looks very military driven.
Yeah.
It sounds very story driven, like you need to pay attention. It's not one of those things that you just let the story engulf you, and you just let what happens. No, this is not one of those animes. This is one of the animes that you forget whatever plans you have, and you say, yeah, I'm watching this, I'm taking this in. And I think that's what puts most people off. They see that, they're like, later, I'll do it tomorrow.
For anyone getting this, you cannot get this anime through any legal means. It has not been released in England, so you have to get either a fan sub, or you have to get it imported that somebody's dubbed. Either way, you're going to get a fan sub, because it just hasn't been done licensed for a US or UK or any kind of English distribution. So I got my hands on it. I had it in my grasp. I had it for a very long time. And was it the 110 episodes that threw me, or was it the poor animation? I don't know. But you know what? Let's just go through this systematically and start with the anime introduction and a bit of trivia. This Legend of the Galactic Heroes is based on a series of science fiction novels. The anime adaptation ran from 1988 to 2000. Now, the TV series, which is 110 episodes, I think it ran from 1988 to 1998, so that's 10 years for the 110 episodes. Then in 1998 to 2000, there was 2 OVAs dedicated to the 2 main characters. So in total, the whole anime canon of it was ran from 1988 to 2000. Neither the novels, the anime, or the manga have been released in English in any sense, in any legal sense. So you have to get a fan dub, as I just said.
Yeah, I think that's what helps make it into this legendary classic.
Maybe it's because it's one of those niche animes that if you've watched this, you're a true anime otaku.
You're a true otaku. You're the now you know what you're talking about. I think it's one of those. It's for an otaku battle. Like if you're both sitting down like, I watch anime. No, I watch anime. No, you don't understand. I'm an otaku. It's like, no, I'm an otaku. Have you seen Legend of Galactic Heroes? That's one.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I really couldn't have said it better myself. This is one of those titles that people feel big about when they watch it. And I'm not trying to put a dampen on anime by saying that, it isn't an accomplishment, because I tell you, man, anyone who gets through this, I will have to pat them on the back.
Because you know what, yeah? I remember, okay, I'm not going to, the problem with making this review now is that we have seen this a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I've seen this. You saw this about 6 months before I did, yeah. I would say. I saw this recently.
And we've both had this for a very, very long time.
Yeah, sit down somewhere.
I have tried to watch this many times before.
Yeah.
And then normally I'll get about to the 3rd episode and I'll quit. And then 2-3 months later, I have to start again, and then I'll probably get to the 10th episode and I'll quit. It's just a lot to take in. One, the animations, it's old. It's not bad, but it's old.
We'll get in. Let me do the basic plot line now. So set somewhere in distant space around the 35th century, Legend of the Galactic Heroes is a story of the epic struggle between the monarchic Galactic Empire and the Democratic Free Planets Alliance. So it's a war between 2 superpowers, basically. The Galactic Empire is 3 times bigger than the Free Planets Alliance.
So it doesn't really sound like a fair war.
This is an anime of what do you call the underdog, the kind of underdog kind of story,
I guess you could say that.
an underdog space battle.
Yeah, we'll fight in the losing battle. One of the two.
So gee, I think we can agree. There's way too many characters in this anime for us to give like even a any kind of in-depth discussion, even when we get to our discussion section.
I guess the main question is, how many would you say are main characters? Because there's billions of characters. We both agree on that.
Most people just bring it down to the two people who are battling throughout the majority of the anime, and that is Yang Wenli and Reinhard von Lohengrin. I'm sure I fucked that up. Now, they both seem to be genius tacticians at war, and Prince Reinhard von Lohengrin is the genius tactician of the Galactic Empire, where Yang Wenli is an up-and-coming officer of the Three Planets Alliance, and a bit of the storyline of his rise to glory. So these are, to me, to answer your original question, you can say these two are the main characters. To go any wider than that is just going into the anime, is going deep into the anime. So to simplify things, I would say these are your two main characters.
It's hard to say they're the main characters, but yeah, they're your main.
600 voice actors for this anime, and I'm sure there's over 800 characters that you meet in the anime. Well, maybe that's exaggeration. I would say people you see come and go and stay main characters, maybe 60 or so.
I would say 10.
If you have to narrow it down, there's 10 or 15
there's
characters.
10 people that you're seeing on the regular. You know what I mean? There's 10 people that actually you'll be seeing them every episode.
Yeah.
And then, but it's really just about the two of them battling it out.
Yeah, it really is about the two of them battling it out.
Wits against wits. That's really where it's.
Yeah, and that's what compels you to enjoy the anime, wit against wit. Now, the storyline pacing, as I said before, is set over 110 episodes, and it is very slow paced and it's dialogue driven.
Now, the only good point I can give it is that it's not dragged out. There's no fillers.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Even though it's a very long anime, I wouldn't call everything that happens is real time, political battle situations. So if you find it boring, it's not because it's a filler. It's because it's boring because you're not interested. Not because
it's just that simple.
Yeah. If you think it's not filler, it might just be boring for you. So All right, G, let's move on to the animation.
Okay, let's talk about the positives. The positives about the animation is they never change it. Given from the time that they made the anime, what was it, 1988?
Yeah.
To 2000, and they never changed the animation, which in my books is good, because I can't really stand watching an anime and then halfway through the series
they bump it up,
and you're just thinking, why? It just ruins the flow. And because they spend so much time in this anime building up the characters, making you get to know them, I think that's I don't know if that's the reason why they chose not to change it, or if they just thought, fuck this, I'm not changing this now, or whatever. But they don't, they just keep it the way it is. That's the good.
Yeah, and it's obvious to anyone. Animation is the first one that's going to throw everyone off. It is very poor on the eye. The character designs are duplicated. They're all drawn exactly the same. They just maybe got different hairstyles.
They all got the same thin boy, slim. I don't know what to say about it. It's hard. It's hard to watch.
This was a long-running series, and even though I think something like Fist of the North Star was made the same time as this, so the animation was better. Well, not the TV series. The TV series, Fist of the North Star, is pretty much the same as this, to be honest with you. But the animated movie is much better. Obviously, you need a lot of money to fund something, such a long project, so it's better to downsize on the animation, especially if the storyline is what you're really trying to get at. I guess they just sacrificed, because they knew that it was going to be such a long series, they had to sacrifice something, and the animation was the thing to sacrifice. You get recycled battle scenes. You get scenes where one ship's shooting, the other ship's shooting. They use, how much they use the same.
Use that a lot. But the thing I gotta say is that when they decided to, get down to the nitty gritty of hand-to-hand combat.
Jesus.
That animation decided to jump up, man.
That was weird, man. People, there's violence in this anime, as GA just said, and when it's violent, man, you know, what's the one thing that I ain't seen in any space anime? You know, I ain't seen, well, when it comes to space battles, using axes.
Yeah, you know what? That was a nice twist. I was surprised with that one. I can't lie. They brought out an axe. He was like, fuck.
You know, you expect to see the fucking get a Battlestar Galactica Star Wars shooting in the corner, shooting in the corner,
the lasers and
shooting the lasers, but not these guys. You know, these guys
lightsabers and
yeah, and the lightsaber. They had a bit of lightsaber action though, which is cool, but they really focused on the hand-to-hand combat.
They had a little of the lightsaber guns. I don't know if they actually had lights. No, they didn't have any lights.
No, actually, I think you might be right.
They had the laser guns. I think they. I don't know. But they had, their bit of shooting. But when it got time, to bring out the hand-to-hand, they went for the axe.
Now, prominently, the action in this anime is hand-to-hand combat with axes.
It's like, no sword, none of these pretty boy weapons. Give me an axe, and let me show you how you use an axe.
And I'm gonna fuck him up.
Yeah, that's basically what he did. None of this pretty, clashing of swords. I don't even know if anybody actually clashed an axe even once. When they swung an axe,
the axe was clashing flesh.
It was only going through your flesh. So there was none of these boy dodging around like, ha ha ha, you're pretty talented, my friend. No, I get the axe, I chop your head off.
Yeah, I tell you, and that really made the anime much more enjoyable. That
I can't lie, it always amused me because you be sitting there, you be reading, you be getting into the story, and then all of a sudden, somebody's getting chopped the fuck up. And you're thinking, wow, I really wasn't expecting that.
All right, well, yeah, the gore is definitely the standout of the animation. It's a nice surprise, a very nice touch.
Definitely enjoyable, and it always comes out of the blue. Worth seeing that kind of level of gore. I enjoyed it. I can't lie.
All right, let's move on to the sound. Now, this series has no original soundtrack. Most of the background music is classical music, like Beethoven or Sinatra. And I'm ignorant enough not to even notice. I noticed it once or twice, but I didn't notice that there was no original music. But to be honest with you, it kind of set the tone. It was when you're watching a space battle and you hear that Beethoven, it actually kind of fits. So I was like, yeah, why not, man? It was alright. And that's for voice acting. I didn't have a problem with it. Yeah, it was okay. Nothing that really stood out.
Yeah, as I'm very educated in my Beethoven and all that, I've realized straight away.
Yes, sir. Very educated.
Us Brits, you know how we are with our Beethoven.
Yes. Sinatra, Beethoven, Pavarotti, it's all the same to me. I'll see you at the show.
Yeah, no, anyway.
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, so yeah.
Alright, let's just get to now what the people... We've done the basic overview. Let's get to, what do the people get from this anime? What do you get from this anime? Tell the people what they get from this anime.
You get an enriching story, for one. A story that has been fine-tuned. They've actually taken into account a lot of things. Not just trying to give you a simple story and then you're just like, yeah, no. This is a big commitment. So if you're looking for something that you can really get into, something that you can debate about afterwards, there's portions of the story that you can stop and have a discussion about it, have a book club and just talk about it, So that's one of the positives you get, Another thing you get out of it is unexpected violence, just out of the blue. Hey, how you doing? Dead. Kind of violence,
Yeah.
Which is... in my case, was a nice touch. Free, because it's an old anime, there's certain things that you can just see coming. Like, hey, boss, should we wait for backup? No. Charge in.
Is that your way of saying predictable characters?
That kind of predictable characters that are amusing, it's a nice touch,
We're losing. Keep firing, but the ship's about to blow. I don't care. Just keep firing.
Ah!
You do get that a lot,
You get that a lot, And the main reason why you want to watch this anime, the main point that I would say that is highly rated is because you're watching two men trying to use their wits to outsmart the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Not only on the battlefield, politically.
Yes.
You know? Which is actually very entertaining.
Yeah, that's true, actually. There's a lot of psychological mind games.
Yeah.
And a lot of porn, people, manipulating people for their own political agendas. And it's actually very interesting to sit back and watch it, because I'm sitting there thinking, shit, a lot of this actually applies to real life.
Yeah, a lot of it applies to real life, and for some people that have more interest in life than others, might apply to your life,
Yeah.
But there's times that one person can win, but for political reasons, he just can't pull the trigger.
I know what you're talking about.
Which is more than amusing,
Oh man, I know what you're talking about. Shit.
So, that's another point that I gotta admit.
Oh yeah, for real. That's a great icon, man. You're bringing back some good memories, man. I had some great times with this anime, man.
As I'm talking about it, and my old brain is kicking in, it's reminding me of the good times, like, reminiscing about, being with your ex, remember the good times. Not really remembering the pain that it was watching through 10 episodes, 100, whatever,
Yeah. Well, let me have my go. What I think people are going to get from this anime. I think they're going to get a very great compelling story. I think you're going to get, if you judge a book by its cover, you just look at the animation, you're going to throw it away. So you are going to get poor animation, but you're going to get a great range of characters, man. The characters, I don't think there's one character I didn't like. Some of them were predictable, like you said, but most of them were, even the predictable ones, they had
their parts to play. It's very true. They had their parts to play,
and they were based on real idiots, And watching this, I felt like I was watching like an alternate universe that exists somewhere, because it was very down to. This is an oxymoron. A very down to earth outer space anime, because I just felt like a lot of the decisions that were being made were things that were not far-fetched. They were just something that any human could relate to. And but I think the two things you're going to get out of this that make up for most of the shortcomings are great characters, great story. That's what you're going to get out of it. But obviously the negative you're going to get is a 110 episode commitment. And you got to ask yourself, can you make this commitment? Because when you first started watching this anime, it was very painful for me to like get into it until episode 30.
I would even say that. For me, it wasn't that after episode 30, I thought to myself, okay, I'm interested now. I just thought it was too late to give up.
We're massive. Like I said, we're power anime watchers. We all sit down and watch it, even though it took me nearly a year, yes, on and off a year to watch this anime. But what the problem is, they throw you in the anime, and the war's been going on for a very long time, yeah, and there's not a lot of expedition to explain what's going on, so you have to kind of watch 30 episodes to care about the characters. And that's how long it took for me to care enough about them to want to watch more. Until then, I was forcing myself to watch it. I can't lie.
Yeah.
But the payoff was fucking worth it.
It was worth it, the main point I could say about the whole intertwining stories and etc. It's not only just two people trying to outwit themselves, even though it is the main point. They've got wild cards, people with their own agendas, people that just want war, slimy weasels in the background just trying to pull strings.
So let's go on to your final grade, man. What's your grade in this anime?
All right, my rating for this anime would be a solid B, because it has too many things that in this modern day and age they wouldn't allow to happen. One, some of the battles was very simplistic, and I think in this modern day and age they would have spiced it up a bit. Two,
I disagree with that, but go on.
Comparing to some of the animes that has been released recently with that kind of plot line, they normally have some very interesting battles. But yeah, the story's perfect, but I think the battles, there was a lot of opportunity to just make them a bit more crisp. and it would have been told more easier for people to digest. I think that's the main point. You know, the way the story was told, it was very hard to take in at times. But yeah, so that's why I give it a solid B. You know, definitely.
My rating for this is I would still give this a first class anime because the story to me and the characters just out. I can see past everything because of that story and because of the characters. Now, you know, a lot of what you said, I just think comes down to the time it was made and the kind of, you know, we've learned so much as, you know, well, not we, but they as animators and storytellers nowadays learn so much more better ways to deliver a story that it suffers from the age that it was in. The delivery was very bad of that anime, you know what I mean? But the underlying story was great, and the characters, Yang Wenli, man, he was just very inspirational character to me. Very, very inspirational character to me. Very philosophical guy, and even the other guy, Prince Reinhard. Thank you. You know, there was no bad guy. That's the thing about anime.
There was a bad guy. How can you forget the bad guy?
I would say there was no. What I mean is, of the two powers, none of them. They had their reasons, and it's very, very well explained over the 110 episodes. You know, you don't really feel like there's a bad side. Just like real life, like the life we live in now, they're just two opposing opinions and belief systems. You know, this anime is not religious in any sense of the word, but, you know, these are just about political views and how people should be treated. And I like, and, you know, the story, the way they deliver it is, it just, for me to give it anything but a first class based on the story and that, the animation to me, it can be looked past because we watch anime with bad animation anyway, and it doesn't bother me. And just like you said, the violence was great. I'm not gonna say I didn't like the animation, but I think we can both agree, man. If this shit was redone now using today's methods and shit, it would be much better.
Much better, you know, much better. I think, you know, it has a very good chance to be one of the best. Even though it's rated at the best as it is,
yeah.
I think if it was redone now, it would be up there with the big boys. I don't think it's quite there now.
But without a doubt, man, it would be definitely big contester with Macross Robotech, Gundam, and all them other space opera animes. You know what I mean? Well, they're not space operas, but I think this would be a chance to change things.
True.
Yeah, but yeah, man, we're all gonna hope for. First, we'll hope for. You know what? I don't even want this to get released. I want them to just redo it. Keep the story, keep this for the fans, keep this as a niche thing for us otakus, and redo it and bring it out. Or let the writers that came up with the original story get all that money with, you know, someone like Gonzo producing animation or something like that.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, 100% on point.